Hey there, everybody. Welcome. The Circle is back.
It's back.
I'm so excited. I love this show. I love how ridiculous it is. We're going to talk in this video about the first 4 episodes because they all dropped on Netflix today.
Yeah, we were really hoping that maybe Netflix was going to take some of the feedback that the community was putting out there, which is, reality shows are shows to be talked about during the week. It's not really a show to binge, so we were all kind of hoping maybe they'd go to, I'm sure they're not going to go to once a week, but even just 2 once a week, and then we can get 2 once a week, so that it's kind of like we have more time to talk about it. But we got 4 all at once, and that's how they're doing it again this season.
Yeah, and let's be honest here. Once you guys started watching 1 and you realized Netflix had 3 more waiting for you, you were gonna watch the other 3 immediately.
Of course.
Like, I wish they would slow them down. I get this is Netflix's thing, but we have so much to talk about because I feel like this is already a much more dramatic season than season 1.
Season 1 had a lot more people getting along, and this one, not so much.
Yeah, that one was really very kumbaya. It was very, I think, people still figuring out kind of how to play the game and all this. This is cutthroat, and man, did we have a battle within these first 4 episodes.
Yeah, we did.
We will get to that. We will talk about some of our favorite players, some of the things we like and don't like about the season so far. But first, if you guys enjoyed this video, I just took a page from Big Brother there. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe for more updates, of course. We have all sorts of great stuff coming. We don't want you guys to miss any of that.
And be sure to follow us over on Instagram at Matt and Jess TV.
Okay. I think the top story, especially coming out of episode 4, the Taralisha versus Savannah feud. It is over. Savannah is gone.
She is gone. That feud got heated so quickly, and I'm so glad Taralisha's still there. She is my favorite. She is my pick. I want to see her win the whole thing. I loved her from the minute she came in. And I like that she is unafraid to sort of call stuff out. I mean, that whole, their friendship went from like 0 to 60 where they were like best buddies. Then they got into that influencer circle and it went so bad. I've never really seen anything like that before.
It was so fascinating to watch. And like that is what intrigued me about these two in the first place. Because yes, I am Team Taralisha like you are.
That's right.
I will throw that out there. But I will say I loved that there were 2 strategic players going this hard this early. And I think a big problem and why it went so bad in that influencer chat is I just feel like both of them would not really let up, and I think they both didn't play it the best either. I think Savannah came off as very, like, I don't want to say arrogant in that sort of sense, but it came off very much of, I know what I'm doing. I'm playing this game. I'm being cutthroat. She let too much of her clear intention show in that conversation with Taralisha, and Taralisha's smart enough to catch on to it.
Yeah, and I mean, they're both really strong women, so they wanted to make sure that the people they wanted to save were saved. But it really did go bad in that next sort of chat with everyone where Savannah was trying to smooth it out and be like, listen, we had to make the hard decisions. This is sort of how it went, whatever. Taralisha not having any of it. She just straight up was like, basically it wasn't my decision. I tried to fight for Brian, who was such a good character. It was such a bummer to see him go.
I was devastated losing, but this guy was so out there and unusual and interesting.
What a cool casting.
Yeah, like I was just desperately clinging to the idea that we were going to be able to see him around. Yeah. Because it seemed like, okay, entering that first sort of circle influencer showdown, it was pretty clear, okay, Savannah's going to try to keep Courtney. She had already sort of established that Courtney was sort of her person in the game. Mm-hmm. And then we saw, okay, Taralisha, clearly, she likes River. one of our many catfishes. She wanted to keep River. So it was clearly between Chloe and Bryant. And I wanted Bryant to stay so badly over Chloe.
I did too, but I mean, the way that it was keeping Chloe made sense for the girls, and because they did have this whole thing. But it was very smart how Taralisha played that to sort of say, you know, Savannah could have saved you and didn't. She saved Trevor instead. She didn't save you. So, you know, is she really with the girls or is she not really with the girls? And even in this last episode where Savannah had a talk with all the girls and not Taralisha, she still was, hey, we're all together. Yeah, right? We all got each other's back. And then when it was time for ratings, Savannah again put like Emily 5, Chloe low, like everybody's low. Like, where is this bond that you're pretending is there that's not? So the fact that we then had Emily, of course, a catfish, up there with Chloe, for them to just clean Savannah out made sense and was immensely satisfying in that way. It's sad to see Savannah go because she is a really sort of strong personality. Yeah. She was bringing that to the game. She was unafraid, and that was something that, you know, I really liked watching.
Yeah, I'm sad this feud is over so soon because there was so much drama here, but I'm going to first tinfoil hat on the circle this season here. I think the editors played a massive game with shenanigans with us in episode 4 because they really tried to make us think that this was an actual decision that Chloe and Emily had to make, when looking back at it, it is just sort of, okay, Taralisha saved Emily with that first go around.
Emily was not.
No. There was as neutral as Emily tried to play this whole thing with Emily. I think the real name is Jack, but like, if it's not, whatever.
It's Jack, but he's not playing a very good game. We've seen people try to, you know, drive in the middle of the road last season as well, and it just doesn't get you anywhere. It gets you kind of the middle of the game. Like, you can't really do that. If you don't make bonds in this game, you don't win.
It feels a lot like he is being Seaburn, aka Rebecca.
That is exactly who I thought.
I think it's just, if you are going in and you're going to be a catfish, you have to sort of know, okay, I'm going to play this character up to 11. I can't just play it safe because I don't understand what a Rebecca or an Emily would think in this situation. You know, people want to actually get the sense that you're real and not cagey. And I think he's probably okay as Emily for maybe another couple episodes, but he's not going to win this way.
No, I think that in this game where you can't actually look someone in the eye and see if they're lying to you, you can't really play both sides of the fence because people will think you're actually doing that, even if you're not. And secretly, you're kind of like, okay, I don't want to piss these people off, but I'm really working over here. I'll just be nice everywhere. You can play a little bit of that, but if you just, that's the whole character, you just can't win. Because no one's going to ever really take you to the end because you're not bonded with anybody.
No, and nobody wants to give somebody they're not bonded with money in the end. But, okay, I think we need to have the Chloe conversation here.
Okay, so we're 8 minutes in. If you're still with us, here we go. Buckle up. We're hitting the curve. So I really like this show a lot. Yeah. The first season of this show, the casting of this show was so spot on. It was so good. And there is so many people in this cast as well that I'm like, oh man, good cast after good cast after good cast. This is going to be an awesome season. And then they brought in Chloe. And it's not that Chloe's personality isn't a good cast. It's that they're forcing a crossover on me that I don't want. I don't want to see somebody coming in from another Netflix show to push another Netflix show on a show that I'm in here to enjoy. I know that there's a little bit of crossover with Circle and Too Hot to Handle, but there's not that much crossover with these shows. They're not that similar. So then you've got this sort of reality star, I guess, in with a group of people where everyone's like, hey, I know you from that show. Let's drop that name of that show again because we're all on Netflix. And that stuff really bugs me.
This is the thing about it. I've seen a few episodes of Too Hot to Handle. I didn't make it through the whole season. Maybe that tells you a little bit about my opinion of Too Hot to Handle. I tried, but it's one of these things where I could have done without the crossover casting. But, you know, the irony in all of this, and this is where the Big Brother comparison comes in, is that, like, you have a house guest who maybe for one reason or another you're not really feeling, but then it's like when they're in a spot that circumstantially benefits you, you kind of find yourself weirdly rooting for them.
Yes, like this last episode where I was like, Chloe, and that's why it's a difficult spot because Chloe, the personality, she's entertaining on this show. But Chloe, the crossover, trying to promote me into another show, I'm just not interested in this. Like, I don't want another show put on me. For all you Grey's Anatomy fans out there that don't watch Station 19, you guys know what I'm talking about, where it's kind of like I want to be able to choose the shows I want. And I know that Too Hot to Handle's out there, and I've chosen not to watch it. So let me have what I want.
Let's talk now about a couple of the castings that we really do like. Cause I like River a lot. Like this whole situation here.
River gonna have a hard time. I think his real name is Lee.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a very hard time being this emotional in the game.
Yeah, like this man, I will say, I loved him hanging out with Bryant after the fact.
I loved that.
I was so happy that Bryant decided to go to him, and they had this he just seems like he's a very nice man. It seems like he's very in touch with his feelings. Maybe
yes, he is.
You know, he's a Texan, he's a writer. I'm a Texan, I'm a writer. Maybe
there's the connection.
It's the kinship. It's like, I want to root for this guy.
No, River is great.
Yeah, but this man was like getting emotional when Savannah was like getting booted from. It's like, dude, you didn't really have that much a relationship with Savannah.
No, you should be happy that Taralisha is still there. That is someone you are working with. That is someone that you really like. Like, this is a good thing. So that's why I'm a little bit worried about him. If you're going to be upset when someone you need out of the game is gone, then this is gonna be a tough game.
It's gonna. Yeah, I don't know if Lee has it in him to turn River into some sort of like game bot where this is gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I mean, maybe River can figure out enough that he should protect Taralisha, and that is all I should really count on him for.
Taralisha is the best casting of this show. She is so smart. She is unafraid, and she's really likable. I really like this casting.
Yeah.
She's it for me, man. She's got to win this show.
I like Taralisha a lot. Like, I'm all over the place with who I really want to win at this point, because a part of my heart is with River, though I think Taralisha probably has a little bit more upside in the game.
I just don't think River's going to be able to win the game the way that it's sort of going. He's already lost Bryant, who was someone who was an ally. And he's having a harder time making connections with people. It's a bit slower for him to make the connections in a game that's really fast.
Here's who I think is actually in the spot to win. I am really impressed by Trevor.
I knew it. Trevor is in such a good spot to win.
Yeah, I love everything that she's doing here as this catfish, because it's like, she's got this weird showmance with Chloe going on, which is really just hysterical with how it's happening. And then it's also like, even people that Trevor's not really working with, she's still finding a way as him to sort of make some bonds, and I don't think he's gonna crumble just because Savannah's gone.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool to see her and Lance Bass playing basketball and like having that sort of moment, and even seeing afterwards where the Lance Bass catfish is trying to get information about the girl fight, to have Trevor sort of be like, okay, listen, I'm playing. She's like, I'm playing this guy. This is not something that I would get involved in, so I got to make sure that I respond that way. It was so smart.
I even love that the real Trevor here gave her a freaking notebook of stuff So that when where Jack decides that, by the way, he's going to start throwing like Saquon Barkley references out there. And
yeah, Jack also did something really weird that I thought he was going to get called out on right away, is he hashtagged Data Daddy. And I thought that people were going to be like, Daddy? Oh, like everything matters. He completely outed himself as a man and nobody caught on.
Nobody uses. Okay, I have so many issues with the word "daddy" being turned into the connotation it's been turned into. But it's like, there were so many things that Emily just said that were like, okay, this is obviously a catfish.
Yes, it is.
I don't know why people aren't catching on to that fully. Trevor, we're having a much better example of one here.
She is so good, and she is playing Trevor perfectly, like really well. Everybody likes him. He's not on anybody's radar. He's in no drama with anyone. People are sharing information with him. She is doing the best job right now.
We haven't mentioned Courtney yet, so let's mention Courtney in the context of Savannah decides after she is booted that she's gonna go to Courtney, and this was by far to me the most compelling one of these we've seen on the circle, because she just dumps everything she has on him.
She gave him so much information. She really put Courtney in a good spot. And Courtney was in a pretty good spot already.
Yeah.
People really like him. Again, a really good casting. He's very likable, and he knows how to sort of play up who he has to play up when the time is and keep some stuff to himself. But now she's come and she has shared so much information. He knows that there's a girls' alliance. Like, he knows sort of where some of the cracks are in this stuff. She told him everything she had. He's in such a good spot. And now he's in this brand new inner circle deal, which is like crazy because we haven't seen that on the show before.
I don't know if this is, I haven't seen enough international circles, so I don't know if this is something that's out there, but
it hasn't been in the American version.
And I don't know, so I don't really know what it is. Like, it's hard to even speculate about it right now. I hope it's not something that's too game breaking. Like, I think the circle is good as it is. Like, I don't want it to be something where he gets like information on a bunch of other alliances and then he's like moving forward like all powerful and all knowing.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about that when he sat in this inner circle and it popped up with everybody, because it's not going to be a private chat because he can do that in his room. He doesn't need to be here for that. So, and they're not going to reveal what people actually look like. That's not going to be a thing.
No.
So the only things that I could think of that it could be is that he can peek into people's private albums to see other pictures of them, but it will all still be catfished. I'm okay with that because he can kind of get a feel for people like, oh, this person has a lot of party pics. This person has, oh, Trevor really does have a kid, or whatever it is, right? What I'm worried is that they're going to give him access to people's private conversations, and he's going to have so much information.
I want him to have evidence but not proof, if that makes sense. Like, I want him to be able to maybe get a few clues onto something, and maybe he can kind of figure some things out himself. But I don't want them to handhold him through the rest of because Courtney is smart. He can figure this out enough. And what you said about that women's alliance, it's so fascinating now for him, because he probably should just rank all three of those women last, and then it's like,
and bring in someone else, another guy, to be like, listen, let's make this connection because I know this information, so we need to deal with this.
And it's also like Taralisha is probably going to rank him last because she realizes he's a threat. And that's going to still be interesting. Even if we've lost Savannah, I still think there is major feud potential moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that Courtney is a very, very smart player. And the more information he gets, the better he gets. So this whole information download on him from Savannah was a really good thing for him. I think he's going to be able to balance this information and figure out how to play it really well, because so far, so good for him. He's been really playing all the information he has well. Even with that conversation with Taralisha, I was kind of like, oh, I wonder how he just going to go in and be like, how dare you with Savannah? But he played it so smoothly to the point that Taralisha got off that chat and said, oh, I think that went really well.
Yeah, and Taralisha, she's been reasonably smart. Like she
is.
I don't think she, is completely gonna get her wool pulled over her eyes, and that's a credit to Courtney. But this is the one thing I'm probably the most disappointed in with these first 4 episodes is that it's not that we didn't get the real Lance Bass. I would have been actually kind of annoyed if we got the real Lance Bass.
Yeah, we need to talk about that a little bit, and that's something else that's a bit strange. And listen, I know that a lot of people in this group don't actually even really know who he is because NSYNC was from so long ago. There's a lot of people who are like 21, 20. They're not going to know who this is. I mean, they might, but probably not. But at the same time, it's kind of like we're bringing in someone and people like River are just like starstruck. And that part of this game, this particular season, is kind of a bit of a bother, especially since like nobody seems to question that Lance Bass is on this show. Like, why would you think that this is real? In what world is this real? I understand that he's a Big Brother fan, and if he had chances to just go into that show, he might. But this isn't Big Brother. This is The Circle. And why would Lance Bass be on The Circle? He just wouldn't.
I'm a guy who lives in my head a lot. And if I was in this show, I would probably have a few moments where, not that I would fully believe it's Lance Bass, but I would be sort of like, okay, I know he's a Big Brother fan. Maybe he really got an opportunity to do this. I would still be at least more skeptical than some of these people. But this is the big issue I have with the Lance Bass. It's just that the catfish of Lance Bass isn't that interesting. Like, I don't know if she's nervous because she's his personal assistant to really go out there with it, but
yeah,
I want him to be, like, weird and, like, funny and it's like, I could have said pretty much everything she said as Lance Bass. Like, I know enough about Lance Bass to be like, oh, I was embarrassed when I split my pants on stage. It's like anybody could come up with that.
Yeah, she needs to give something a little more personal that makes it believable, because we can all look that stuff up online, and I'm out on the Lance Bass. And even if I was playing this game and I thought that the actual Lance Bass was in this game, he has to go. He can't be in this game. I'm not going to go to the end with Lance Bass. So if it's him or if it's not him, he has to go. And I'm really surprised that more people aren't, I know they can't target him yet, but more people aren't talking about that. To be like, Lance Bass has come into this game, Lance Bass got to get out of this game.
I wonder what the level is of, like, is there going to be someone on The Circle someday who just put somebody in there who's, like, impossibly famous and it's so obvious it's a catfish? Like, I want to see someone... It's The Circle Season 3. All right. I'm Matthew McConaughey. I'm entering this. It's like...
Right, but I don't think that they can do that. I think that they're able to get away with Lance Bass because he's giving permission for his photos, for his identity to all be part of this game. I don't think we're going to have... Because I was a bit kind of worried with that, too, where I'm like, okay, Lance Bass, so what is next season going to be like? Hey, I'm Angelina Jolie. Hey, I'm Brad Pitt. Hey, I'm whoever. I'm Jack Black. Like, it's going to be a whole season of people lying about this. But then the more that I thought about it, I was kind of like, okay, this is Lance Bass's assistant. He gave a video saying, here's permission. I'm sure he had to give permission. So I am less worried now that we are going to have a whole season of pretend celebrities.
Yeah, there are a couple of issues I have with these first 4 episodes, but I love the strategy this season more so than the strategy the first time. I feel like there's a lot of really good conflict. Yeah. It's like The Circle and American viewers, we're all figuring it out together. It's a fun little road we're on right now.
And it's another season of some really good casting.
Yeah, and I appreciate that more than anything. But
besides the crossover, I still like Chloe.
I like Chloe right now because she's benefiting what I want in the game.
I think she's entertaining to watch.
Yeah, she's fun to watch. We've got a lot of conflict. But who are you guys rooting for? Like, I'm really excited to
Taralisha?
Yeah, are you team Taralisha? Were you team Savannah? Are you bummed out that she's gone? Like, give us all your thoughts on all this. And if you guys enjoyed this, subscribe, give us a like, support us further. We have links in the description to the store, our Patreon, and we will see you here next time.